hackers can use a powerful Windows library called user32.dll to manipulate your system. But we will use the same library for many good reasons. Let's try to build a simple Clipboard Manager and explore how you can use this library for many good reasons. Open Visual Studio, click on File, then New, and select Project. Next, search for or select Windows format. Give the project a meaningful name. I'm using the name Clipboard Manager, and then click Next. And this is the final screen to create your project, where you can select the .NET framework. I'm using .NET 6.0. Finally, click Create. Okay, before I start any coding, I will change the title of the form to Clipboard Viewer, and also rename the form itself. By default, it's use a generic name like Form1. So I will rename it to Clipboard Viewer. And now you are ready to work on it. Before we jump to the code behind, let's first deal with the UI elements. Open the toolbox, and from there you can select or search for the list box. Then drag and drop it on the form. Add a label and a button from the toolbox as well. Next, change the text for the button and label to make them more descriptive. And this is important. Select the list box, go to its properties and give it a meaningful name. In this case, I am choosing List Clipboard History. And don't worry about the C# code yet. We will get to the code behind once the UI elements are set up. And after making these adjustments and a few tweaks, this is how your UI should look like. Alright, let's start the coding. And the first step is import required libraries. And to interact with Clipboard, we need to use some functions from Windows API. And by adding this namespace, it will allow us to achieve this. And step number 2 is define Clipboard API functions. In this step, we will use the DLL import attributes to import functions from user32.dll. If you don't know, user32.dll is a Windows system library that contains core functions for interacting with the Windows user interface. It includes managing Windows, handling input, working with the clipboard, and many more. To work with the clipboard, we will import this function, set clipboard viewer. This function will register your form. In this case, it's clipboard viewer. And the name of our form is clipboard viewer. It allows our application to monitor clipboard events so we can track them. And step 3 is create the clipboard history list. Here I'm adding a list of string to store the clipboard history. This list will track all unique text entries copied to the clipboard, ensuring no duplicates are stored. And once done, you can set up the form load event. In the clipboard viewer constructor, subscribe to the forms load event and call set clipboard viewer like this. Basically, this configuration allows the form to begin monitoring clipboard changes immediately after it loads. Now, let's move to the next step. And step 4 is handling clipboard changes. Now comes the fun part. The method I'm going to show you working with low-level code. This means it directly interacts with the operating system and its APIs. It allows you to handle messages from the Windows system. It's called Windows Procedure method. This listens for a specific message, which indicates that the clipboard content has changed. When this message is received, it triggers the onClipboardUpdate method. And here is the onClipboardUpdate method. It's really simple. This method just checks if the clipboard contains text, and if it does, it retrieves the text and adds it to the history. So let's check what exactly add clipboard text to history method is doing. This method ensures that only unique text entries are stored in our clipboard history, and then it updates the UI to reflect the new entry. It means that if you copy the same text multiple times, it will only appear once in the history window. And now update clipboard list method. This method updates the list of clipboard entries displayed on the form. It clears the old list and adds all items from the clipboard history list. It is simple, right? And the next step is really optional, but I have added it for extra convenience. Step number 5. Managing clipboard history, reuse and clear entries. So here we are going to add a double click event to list clipboard history. So basically what this code does, it will allow you to double click an item to set it as the current clipboard content, making it easy to reuse any previously copied text. And that's it. Now we have fully working Clipboard Manager is ready. Let's run some tests. I have a notepad document where I have written some text. First, I am going to copy this line. This is a test. Now I have start my Clipboard Manager. Wow, it's working. Technically, it retrieved the text from the Windows API, even though I copied it before starting the Clipboard Manager. Now let's do one more test. I am going to copy a second line, clipboard test. I expect it to appear immediately in my Clipboard Manager. and it should keep working every time I copy a new text. And that's it. It's working as per my expectation. Let's do some another test. Let me double click one of the entries in the clipboard history to see if I can copy and reuse some content. I will paste it back into the notepad, and yes, it is working. And finally, let's clear the clipboard history. This is exactly what I was expecting. And feel free to enhance it further. And if you're my email subscriber, you already have a detailed email and you already have access to the GitHub repo. If not, you can find the link in the description below. And if you want to take one step further, you can watch this video, learn coding from first principle. And I will add the link in the description. And remember this, coding is not hard. Coding is really easy. You just need to remember two things. First, right mindset. Second, practice. And thank you for watching.